Hi. So today I want to talk about what happened this last weekend. And today is the 16th, so I think this happened the 15th, namely the attack on the Saudi production facilities. Now, I think that we're going to see in time that this is a classic example of black swan, the term coined by Nassim Taleb, which refers to events that are semi-catastrophic, really foreseen by nobody, and yet in hindsight seem perfectly inevitable. So in this case, we're talking about the Saudi production facilities, a fixed facility on land, accessible by many, many nations and many, many interested parties, especially now that everybody has the ability to remotely deliver explosives or weaponry to a far-flung region using just GPS plotting. So this capability is widespread. It's at street level. You can build a device yourself that doesn't have any of the commercial features, protective features. The technology is just basic electronics, motors, propellers, a frame, and a battery. And we all know batteries have been improving dramatically. Range, endurance is all increasing. The fact that these facilities are fixed on the ground seems now inevitable that they were attacked, and it seems virtually impossible to ensure that they're not going to be attacked in the future. And the black swan effect of this is that the estimates are that half of Saudi oil production has been cut. It may last for quite some time, especially if further damage is done, or just the fact that the world becomes more aware of how easy it would be to repeat an incident of this type, how vulnerable we are to shocks of this type. And I guess the greater question really is this the moment when the culpability of the central bankers comes home to roost? These people around the world have been moaning and complaining about the fact that they're unable to get inflation to over 2% a year, which itself is an outrageous travesty, because at 2% inflation, the value of your money is reduced by 50%, by half, over 36 years. So if you save $1,000 and the Fed succeeds in creating inflation of 2%, your $1,000 will buy only $500 worth of goods 36 years from now. Multiply that by however many thousands you wish, or however many thousands you need to have 36 years from now when you retire, and you can start to see why 2% inflation is not price stability by any stretch of the imagination. But let's save that whole rant for another separate thread and get back to the black swan aspect of this, which is that central banks around the world have been able to reduce interest rates to negative rates, in part by buying their own bonds or having entities that they control buy those bonds, i.e. the Federal Reserve in America, the European Central Bank in the EU. These entities own huge amounts of bonds, and an oil price shock, such as we've just witnessed on Sunday, has the potential to throw all of these inflation numbers into wild disarray. Even with the hedonic measurement adjustments that they put on price adjustments to say that if steak goes up, you eat hamburger, all in an effort to reduce the price impact of price increases, the fact that this oil price shock came out of the blue. Oil was up 20% Sunday night. I haven't checked. I think it was up close to 10% today on the close. But I think this is just the beginning. I think the fact that we are vulnerable to these shocks is going to force these central banks to abandon any plans of lowering rates. The entire world is formulated upon lower and lower rates, and debtors around the world are salivating at the thought of actually being paid to have debt. Well, maybe price shocks like this, black swan events like this, are the lesson that finally needs to be learned before these madmen destroy everything. Good luck out there.